Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Food Experience. Today's Food Experience, I got a special one for you. It's kind of an odd one. This is a video that features my very first sandwich creation ever. I named it the Hog Log Cheese Dog. It was made in the early 80s, back when I was living with my parents. Well, kind of am living with my dad again, but many years without. Nonetheless, back in the early 80s, I was just a teenager growing up. It was late at night, I had a bunch of friends over, and we just started kind of grabbing a few ingredients, and I'm thinking, I know what to do. Make a hot dog creation that will stand the test of time. And here it is, the Hog Log Cheese Dog. When I first made this creation, I pan-fried the hot dog in beer. And I'm not going to be doing it that way this time. I'm going to be cooking it on the griddle, so I've revised the recipe a little bit. I also came up with different versions of it, like regional versions, like a New Yorker, a Chicago, a New Mexico, Italian, all kinds of different versions that I came up with. It was my dream and vision to have a food court store, in the food court of a mall, and I was going to name it Hog Logs, and I think that would have been really cool. It never came to fruition, but that's okay. I'm still here today, and I'm ready to show you guys what it's all about. Maybe one day I'll get my own business and roll these out amongst some of my other tasty creations that I make. Anyhow, without further ado, we're only going to go over the cooking part, and here we go. With this cook, I'm starting off with some applewood smoked bacon, and I like to spread it out, make sure everything's in a single layer, but at the same time I like to keep it moving because when you do that it doesn't really stick to the griddle as much. It will leave a little bit of residue behind, but it could easily be scraped off. But just keep that moving, keep it cooking. I'm moving it over to the side right now and then scraping it down a little, get rid of that residue, and adding some onions. I diced those up earlier. Some of them I had to kind of chop a little bit more. There you go at the last minute. But nonetheless, we're going to get those onions all caramelized. And what are we going to do it with? Well, bacon grease, that's what. So here I go, merging the bacon and the onions together, letting them both cook together. And the onions will be so tasty cooking in that bacon. Or should I say bacon grease, but so tasty. The bacon and onions are looking really good now, so I'll move them to the side and then cutting slits in a hot dog. I cut slits on both sides, and I am seasoning the dog with Shake That by the Flat Top King. Put it on one side, turning the dog a little bit, and get it in those other slits right there. Roll the dog over on top of it, just to collect any goodness that got left behind, and scraping off the excess. Merging the bacon with the dog, that way the dog kind of cooks with that bacon onion grease, And I never really used to do it this way when I was a kid, but I didn't have a flat top either, so it brings on some whole new possibilities. At this point, I'm removing the bacon and the onions, letting them dry a little bit, letting the dog finish up. It's pretty much done. It's got some nice grill marks, and removing it as well. And now for a quick scrape down and cleaning of the griddle top. So first I want to scrape it down, then a little spritz of water. And the reason why I'm doing this is there is some residue left behind, and I don't want it to get on the burrito or tortilla shell. And that's what's coming up next. There we go. Lay down that burrito-sized flour tortilla. Cook for about a minute, minute and a half each side. Just making sure it's in even contact with the griddle, and then remove it. Using KC Masterpiece, that's what I always used to use when I was a kid. Baste it on, Put the hot dog in. Grab some bacon and onions. And let's not forget medium cheddar cheese that I grated from the block. Always use the block cheese. Then fold in the sides, fold it up and over, and kind of push back. Make sure everything's inside. Make sure the sides are still together inward, and roll it up like a burrito. Then, once you have it together, put down some oil. Spread it out just a little bit. And put the burrito seam side down. That way it has a chance to kind of hold that and get sealed up. And you want to rotate it a little bit to get all the sides with some goodness, but you could see the bottom there. It got nice and griddled, you could say, but it's not burnt, and it tasted so good. Taking it off the griddle, cutting it in half. And when you just look at the inside, OMG,